Hello everyone, my name is Jet, back with another Battlefront 2 video. In this video, you'll be covering part 2 of our hero tier list. In this part, you'll be covering all villains in Battlefront 2. Remember that my ranking of these villains is all my opinion, and you may disagree, which is totally okay. When I rank these villains, I take both hero game modes and trooper modes into account. I do my best to be fair and give my best explanations on where I place these villains. Also, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more Battlefront 2 content on the channel. Feel free to also drop a follow to my Twitch channel, link will be in the description below, as I stream Battlefront 2 every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for listening, and let's get on with the video. To start off, we have BB-8's counterpart, BB-9E. I believe BB-9E to be the clear worst hero in the game. BB-9E's abilities are just for the team. As an infantry trooper or reinforcement, when I'm fighting a BB-9E in a 1v1, I either kill him or get him to around 100 health. He often gets targeted because he is so weak. His primary attack has little to no damage, and his stun is decent if you have your team with you. In a game like Battlefront 2, a villain like BB-9E just isn't reliable. Something else I noticed about BB-9E is that he also has pretty bad health regeneration, adding to how weak he is. I don't ever use him, and I don't think you should either. I can't see him going that high on this list, so we're going to place BB-9E at D tier. Next, we have one of the most notorious bounty hunters in the galaxy, Boba Fett. I know this is going to be very controversial, as Boba at his best is a high S tier villain. However, the average player is going to struggle with Boba. His abilities are good when used correctly. His Rocket Barrage and Concussion Rocket are very good cards for getting frags for you and your teammates. The big issue with Boba is that his armor feels like cardboard. Coming in at 600 health, he ties up being the weakest hero in the game. You are pretty easy to hit when you're in the air, and there's a very specific playstyle you have to play with Boba to succeed. The E3 also takes a lot of practice, as getting headshots in the air can be difficult. In conclusion, Boba is an insane villain in the right hands, but as just a villain in general, I have to put him at the B tier. Another bounty hunter we'll be covering is BoSK. He is one of the most versatile villains in all of Battlefront 2. One of the biggest strengths involves being able to regenerate 100% of his health. He can also spam jump to make himself very hard to hit. His jump is unlike anyone else's in the game. His blaster can one-shot any class at full charge, and is very strong from close range. From experience, BoSK might be one of the most annoying villains to play against. He has great crowd control with his micro grenades, and his cards allow him to use them for extended periods. His proximity mines and Diaxis are most used for deterring enemies, including enemy heroes. You can take down an Anakin from full health if you play BoSK's abilities correctly. BoSK is a very strong villain and deserves to be A tier. Next we have Phasma. Phasma is one of those heroes I also can't see myself putting that high on this list. Her blaster is by far the worst blaster in the game of any hero or a villain. The TTK is very bad, even when you're zoomed in, you're going to experience a large amount of uncontrollable bloom. There are literally reinforcements in this game with better blasters than Phasma. You'd think her abilities to make up for this, but you'd be wrong. She has a droid which is only used for deterring heroes, which is useful for only a short period of time. She also has a melee staff which is decent against infantry. However, I do not think it's good due to its inconsistency. Now, she does have a healing card that gives her damage reduction, but I do not think it's enough to save Phasma from being a C tier villain. Next, we have Darth Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku. Now, Dooku is one of the most situational heroes in all of Battlefront 2. He will struggle in large modes with a lack of ranged abilities. However, he is a beast when it comes to close range. His damage is unmatched with a combination of duelist and exposed weakness. These abilities really help take Dooku to the next level. He has one ability called Lightning Stun that is good for dealing damage with multiple enemies, but it has little to no range even with the range card. I played Heroes vs Villains and Hero Showdown for months, and I can say that Dooku is insane for those modes. He is a master duelist. His character requires you to learn how to duel against other heroes. Due to his domination hero and villain modes, and close range ability, I'm going to give him B tier. Now, we have one of the most well-known heroes in the game, Darth Maul. Maul is a very loved and hated hero. I believe him to be one of the most underwhelming heroes in the whole game. He is worse than Dooku in every aspect, except he has some ranged abilities to attack and retreat. He is the weakest lightsaber hero in the game with 700 base health and not that much health regeneration. Let's just say if you run into a group of enemies, you're going to have a hard time with kills. His lightsaber throw is an alright ability, but it doesn't come close to Vader's. Maul's spin attack feels glitchy, and a lot of times the damage doesn't even register. Lastly, his choke ability is nice for when you need to retreat and throw enemies away from you, but I don't really like it due to you being vulnerable while pushing. He doesn't really excel in anything, and his cards are pretty terrible in my opinion, as they don't really improve him at all. I believe DICE are really underachieving with this hero. He always feels like he's missing something. For this, I'm going to put Maul C tier. Next up is Papa Palps. Palpatine is a very strong villain when needing map control. He is the master at taking care of crowds with his chain lightning and electrocute abilities. His cards give him added range and add the amount of enemies he can hit with his lightning. His Dark Aurora also can be useful for fighting enemies at close range. This makes him an even more unstoppable force. To go along with everything, he also has the fastest dodge ability in the game to get away from danger. Palpatine is definitely the strongest in trooper modes. His only weaknesses consist of being weak and not being able to block. If he hit a block, he'd easily be S tier. For now, he is a solid A tier pick. Now we have one of my personal favorites, which is General Grievous himself. Grievous is also a hero that is very similar to Vader, with pure domination. He can one-swing every class except heavies with his Sith Train card. Anakin is the only other hero in the game that can do this. Also, he can one-shot every class except heavies with his crawl ability when using the card Line Up Weaklings. He has some of the best cards in the game, and that's what helps take Grievous to the next level. His only glaring problem is that he has the worst blocking stamina in the game. To counter this, I use a special card that gives Grievous damage reduction when using Unrelenting Advance. In lots of situations, you can escape getting sprayed by dodging into cover or using his Unrelenting Advance. Still, I think Grievous is one of the best saber heroes in the whole entire game, which is why I'm going to place him A tier. Next, we have Special Forces Iden Versio. On paper, Iden is one of the most well-rounded heroes in the game. Her stun is used for killing heroes with ease, her pulse cannon is a solid sniper, and her personal shield is great for getting out of trouble. On top of that, her TL50 has a secondary fire mode that works as a grenade that can take out hordes of troops. I love using Iden for her survivability. However, her health regeneration and health are on the same end as Boba, Han, and other weaker heroes. She gets the edge due to her personal shield, as she can take hits like a champ behind her shield. I would definitely pick up an Iden if you're a newer player, as she is well balanced in every situation you can run into in Battlefront 2. She is a solid A tier villain. After Iden, we have Kylo Ren. I believe Kylo is one of the most feared heroes in Battlefront 2. He can be very annoying to go against, especially as a hero. He can freeze and pull multiple enemies at once. This secures kills for him and his team. His swing speed and lightsaber damage is a bit weak compared to other villains and heroes, but it isn't much of a disadvantage taking his abilities and cards into account. I compare him to Luke a lot, as he is a very fast and agile hero. His Frenzy is also an amazing ability for jumping to multiple targets or to go their other heroes' blocks. This is a very unique ability and can help you do things no other hero or villain can. Kylo is a very unique hero, and I believe he stands out amongst the rest, and he deserves to be S tier. I know we were all waiting for this villain, Vader himself. Vader is probably the most feared hero in this game. For good reason too. With the right cards, you can have 1,150 health and 25% damage reduction when Furious Rage is active. This means with a few cards and an ability active, Vader can have a staggering 1,438 health when you add the health gain from damage reduction. Vader is an absolute monster. He also has some of the best abilities in the whole entire game to go along with this. He has a Force Choke that basically secures a kill for him, whether it be troopers or a hero. He is unstoppable. His lightsaber throw is also insane, as it can one-shot all troopers when it comes back to you. I think he's the best hero in this game, and he is obviously going to go S tier. That just about wraps up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Making these videos isn't easy and it takes a lot of time. Thank you all for watching if you're still here. It really does mean the world to me. You are what makes creating content so fun. Feel free to subscribe for more weekly Battlefront 2 content. If you're looking for daily Battlefront 2 content, head over to my Twitch, link will be in the description below as well, as I stream this game every weekday again. Thank you all for your time and have a safe and beautiful rest of your day.